And she said he's a big fan and he is considering bringing you onto a project. And I said, I don't know what he wants with me. She goes, just go meet him, just go talk to him. He's a really nice kid. So I met him for a cheesesteak sandwich. He bought it for me. He happened to be living right around the corner from where I was. And we sat down and he goes, all right, first of all, he goes, I know you don't know who I am. He goes, but I start off every show talking about peace, love, and positivity. And I said, you're a hip hop artist who talks about peace, love, and positivity. I don't know what you want from me, but I'm in. And I loved him. I loved his energy. I thought he was so cool. We became family in that moment. And the next night, he wrote the entire script for The Incredible True Story, his next album. And went to see him in concert, and it was amazing. It was this sci-fi, if you don't know Logic, that album had this sci-fi theme that went through it. And he wrote a character for me, and that character actually bled through to the next album also, which was Everybody. Ended up doing a bunch of music videos with him, and I call him my little brother now. And we're gonna be doing some more stuff, I hope, in the very near future. Yeah.
It's great. You can actually watch the full video online, and if you do want your questions asked, by all means, head up there to those microphones. But I noticed in the context of that, there is a scene, and I won't spoil it, it's been out, where you're wearing prosthetics.
Yes.
You too got
Yes.
to be a part of the prosthetic experience. What was that like getting into makeup with him?
I think I spent more time in the prosthetics than I spent actually shooting it. Yeah, that was for a music video that we did, and I played his boss, and I was basically yelling at him the whole time. And it was supposed to be a silent thing, but they liked it so much that the director actually had me yell at him out loud. And it was, yeah, I was this old fart, and he was old too, and I was just telling him he was fired, basically. It was, I think that was the Everyday video. Any Logic fans here? Yeah, I think that was Everyday. Yeah, we did that song Every Day, and I've done a few of his videos too, but that was one particularly weird one. So yeah, really fun.
Before I come out to your questions, at the risk of sounding incredibly fangirly, but I'll go for it. Your voice is mesmerizing. Has it always? That was too much. Have you always had a voice that has lent itself to the type of work you've been doing?
My voice was really the only superpower I had. When I was a little kid, I used to be bullied a lot. And when I turned about 12 years old, my voice dropped. And so all the guys that were bullying me, who were out in the hallways when they shouldn't have been, got a little dose. And I would just kind of hide behind the corner and say, boys, get back to class, or something like that. And they'd be looking around all scared and see all these big bullies sweating. It was fantastic. So you never know what your superpower is, you guys. So just be aware that it's going to pop up at very unexpected places. And it served me really well. I never thought I could do anything with it. I certainly didn't think that voiceover was an actual viable career. My parents still didn't think it was until I was 40 years old. But it worked out, and I don't get to use my natural speaking voice in most of the character work that I do. I'm usually doing something like really deep or something really silly, one of those kind of crazy affectations. So when I originally was able to use my natural speaking voice for things like Cowboy Bebop, thank you, I had to learn how to act. And that's the part that a lot of people who are interested in voice acting don't really understand, is the acting part is a lot more important than the voices. And that was a big aha moment for me. So I had to learn how to act in the course of doing that show.
That really brought a lot of personal growth for you as well. And
Big time.
you fell into this. You ended up in this later in life. I think a lot of people are like, oh, you've been doing it forever. And that wasn't the case for you. You were in your 40s, and now you were tasked with learning all these new things about yourself through this character of Spike and other characters.
Yeah. Well, I was doing voiceover work before I turned 40, but it was on the fringes. I did a lot of older shows. And I did it just for fun. I didn't think anybody would ever see them. Back then, it was only available on VHS. You know what that is, kids? Yeah. And they were super expensive back then. It was like $85 an episode for things. So I didn't think anybody would ever watch. I used fake names for most of the shows I recorded on, including the name of my dog when I wrote Trigun. I was one of the main writers on Trigun. And I wrote the show as Andrew Watton, which was my girlfriend at the time, was her last name, and our dog was Andrew. And so I didn't think anybody would see these things. And so it wasn't until later on when I got hired for Cowboy Bebop, and even beyond that, I was sitting on a panel with the lady who would eventually become my wife, Mary Elizabeth.
The major.
Yeah, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, who directed us on Bebop, and she directed Naruto and Digimon and a bunch of other things. We've been friends for forever. But we were sitting on a panel after Bebop became a thing in the States, and we were all talking about our journey as actors. And I said, well, I'm not a real actor. Everybody else was classically trained. She goes, what do you think you've been doing for the last 15 years, you idiot? And I went, oh, this is acting. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, but I learned how to act in the process of getting through 26 episodes in a movie of Bebop.
It's amazing. When I looked at, you were just talking about crediting, including your dog. There's David Lucas, Richard Cardona, Roger Canfield, Tom Barron, Daniel Andrews. I mean, all these names, and then finally you found your way, and now you're the name in and of itself. So I find it interesting that over the years you chose so many different names for yourself before you came fully into your own.
It was a joke for me. I just did it for fun. I did voiceover for fun, and I didn't think anybody would ever know who I was. And I was fine with that. But somehow it turned into a career, so I thought, well, all right. I joined the union, and that was the main reason I started using my own name, is the union made me do it. So, so here I am.
Was anyone in here for Eric Vale's panel? So, I mean, I'll let you ask him, but do ask him about the one time that he lent someone else's name to a project he was doing, and just prepare yourself. It is the single craziest story. And by the way, go to his autograph booth to hear it. It involves yeah. All right, question over here to you. I've taken up enough of your time and thoroughly shocked our guest. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Bridget.
Hi, Bridget.
I'm a voice actor in San Francisco.
Hey, family.
And I just got an audition from my agent and realized it's going to be recording on my iPhone in a pillow fort in my hotel room. So I'd love to hear what your go-to travel setup is for auditions.
Very good question. Yeah, I used to use my iPhone and an Apogee mic. It was just called MIC. That was my kit back in the day. Now, because of Toonami, I never know when I'm going to be recording it. So I have to be prepared with a pro rig. So I actually bring a full Pro Tools rig, Sennheiser 416 microphone. Yeah, and an Apogee One. It's Apogee Duet is what most people use, but they actually have a thing called an Apogee One, which is only about this big, about the size of a remote control. And I do build the pillow for it if I need to, or throw a comforter over my head, and I record for broadcast in my hotel room or a car. I've done it in airports before. They actually have these little booths in airports. They're phone booths or nursing stations. Sometimes they double. I've used those in airports before to record for broadcasts. So I'm prepared all the time, and I bring way too much luggage. But
That's awesome.
But it's good to be prepared. You never know when you're going to need to do it. I've recorded before from a car in the middle of the night in Australia in a parking lot outside a motel. So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, it's great that we can do it anywhere now.
Yes. Yeah. Well, welcome to the family. I hope we get to work together at some point.
I hope so. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good luck on all your future projects.
Yes.
I love the reaction to when you mentioned the mic. He was like, oh, like that's the good stuff. And there is a video on his Instagram where you can see sort of his setup. It involves like t-shirts